What is going on, everybody? My name is Joshua Finley, aka Kamikaze Juice, and in today's video, I'm going to be speaking about how I got Bell's palsy and my mental breakdown. Now, the purpose of today's video is actually to spread more awareness and create awareness of a condition called Bell's palsy. Bell's palsy is something that I got back in February of 2018, and it was due to the cause of extreme high levels of stress that I was going through in my life, which caused my body to have this sort of like a picture when the levels of stress is getting higher and higher and higher, and you hit that peak level inside in your brain. There's something that happens and it triggers, causing a paralysis of the face. And I pretty much woke up one day back in February 2018, and my face was basically drooping on one side. My right eyelid, my mouth, my nose, my cheek, everything was droopy, and I couldn't even understand what it was. So I was actually at a party the day before. For those who do not know me, I'm a club promoter from Toronto, and I was a part of a party called The Brunch. It was a day party, and I was out the day and evening before. It was a very long day. So when I woke up in the morning with, my eyeball had looked like it was dry, similar to as if my eye was open pretty much the whole night. And I didn't really think anything of it. I honestly thought that maybe I was just exhausted, overworked, and I just needed to crash and get some sleep. So a whole day had gone by, and then the next day, I was having dinner with my girlfriend, who is my fiance, Brenda, right now. So at the time, I was having dinner with her. She's looking at me and she's like, babe, how come you haven't really blinked in the right side of your face? Like, I haven't seen a blink, and your mouth is kind of slouched and drooping, and your blinking is like kind of like my right eye would blink, my left eye would blink, but they weren't in sync. And so I knew what was going on, and I was a little bit embarrassed and ashamed of what was happening. So I actually was trying to play it off like everything's gonna be okay, because in my mind I was telling myself that whatever's going on, whatever's happening, maybe there's some type of chemical imbalance in my body, it's just gonna go away in a few days. So she was like, no, you need to go to the doctor, you need to go to ER and get this looked into. So that night I go to the ER, and I spent about 5 hours there, and they ran some tests on me, and basically what they were looking for is checking that I didn't have a stroke. So they had me do these tests where I was opening and closing my hands, trying to open and close my eyes, had me walking left and right foot. They checked the right side of my body, the left side of my body, and they had me blow all the air in my cheeks, kind of like a blowfish, which looked like this. And they wanted to see that I was able to keep my mouth closed. So when I did that test, I wasn't able to. The right side of my face, the air would blow out my cheek, and I wasn't able to close both eyelids at the same time. So basically this right eye would sort of blink, or it would be like a delayed blink because my eyelid wasn't able to fully shut. They had diagnosed me with Bell's palsy. And at the time, I didn't even really know what Bell's palsy is, and the doctor then gave me a steroid and an antibiotic, which I was taking, and basically told me that this is something that you should have attacked the day of, because it was going on the end of the second, early into the third day. And he said if I had not come any sooner, then I probably would have had Bell's palsy forever. It wouldn't have gone away because I wouldn't have been able to basically attack it and fix it. So Bell's palsy, again, is a condition that they don't really know exactly what causes it. There's no one main cause, and many people all over the world have this condition, and it comes and it goes. Some people live with it, some people it comes multiple times. I've been blessed and I've never ever had it again. So I created this video, again, to just speak awareness and create awareness on this condition. So what happened to me leading up to me getting Bell's palsy was stress. So if you're watching this video and you're still here and you're tuned in, I am going to be speaking strictly about stress right now, mental health. Mental health is a very serious issue that should not be taken lightly. And I remembered at the time when I had Bell's palsy, I then now had to tap into the history of my life, and I had to go into like things that had happened to me, and I had to think to myself, what was causing me this stress? And a lot of things were things from my childhood, things from my past, things from my teenage years, my early 20s, previous friendships, relationships, things with family members, things that I just never had closure with, things that I just never was able to get over because we never simply spoke about it. And being a black man, and in our community, we're never really raised to speak about our mental health issues. We're raised to have this, kind of this toughness, or to just keep pushing forward, which I have nothing against, because I believe you should push forward. But at the same time, if you have issues, things that are eating you alive, literally day in and day out, you have to be able to speak about it. You have to be able to seek help, whether it's a friend or your mother, your father, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, somebody you just, a mentor. And you can just talk about it. You say, listen, hey, I actually have these things going on, these demons I'm battling, these things going on in my mind. I can't sleep at night, things that are just eating me alive, and I just need to speak about it. There's hotlines, there's websites, there's people you can speak to, you can seek professional help. But I definitely highly recommend it, because what I went through at that time, it was basically a really tough time for me. A few years prior, I was actually the victim of a fraudulent credit card scam or scheme where, large sums of money was taken off of my credit card, and these people were kind of like renting cars from different, rental units, rental dealerships, and car was rented from my card, and it was then stolen and never returned. And the rental truck company was then deducting the money every single day off of my card, and this went on for many, many weeks until my card was then maxed. And then I had gone to the police to basically file a report that it was not me that did this crime. And then when I went to the police actually immediately just arrested me and had charged me with theft over $5,000. And then the rental company had charged me civilly. So I was battling a criminal course and a civil course. So this is where the stress had begun, and this was in early 2015. So during this time in 2015, I was still promoting parties. I have a clothing line, Kamikachi Clothing, which is what I'm wearing. So I'm pushing my brand, I'm in the clubs, I'm promoting, I have all these successful events, I'm hanging out with friends, and I'm doing all these things, smiling in front of the camera, taking pictures. I'm pretty known in the community, especially in the urban community and in the club scene community. And I'm doing all these successful events, and everything for me looked like my life was, fantastic and epic. And I was actually battling these demons where I couldn't sleep at night. And I was having these stresses where, in my dreams, the devil was coming to me and telling me that you're never going to overcome this. And I remembered my debt was so high that my credit card was maxed out, and I had to hire a lawyer. So shout out to my lawyer, Harville Bassi. I'm going to put his link in the description here below. If you're from Toronto and you ever need a criminal case lawyer, this lawyer was able to get my case dropped, which was a long 3-year battle that I was going through. So what happened was, during the time that I was going through court and I was dealing with the civil matter, and I was dealing with all of this and my debt, and I was trying to pay off my debt, I wasn't able to get a new job because they wouldn't hire me because I had a criminal record that I was trying to clear, and I was dealing with so much stress. It was boiling and boiling and bubbling up. And the biggest part of this, I never told anybody. I was keeping it in. I never told friends. I never told family. I didn't even tell my girlfriend. I ended up telling her later on, near the bud end of it, when I had finally beat the criminal court case. I then was able to open up and tell her what had happened. And from that point, then I made an Instagram and a Facebook post. I felt like I was just sick and tired of keeping this in. Again, the reason I'm speaking about this is because when I had Bell's palsy, I then had to realize and get down to what was stressing me out. So I made these posts on my social media just to simply let everybody know, hey, I'm Kamikachi Juice. Yes, you see me, but at the same time, I am human, and I do go through hardships. I do go through hard times. I had to dig deep within myself and figure out really, I'm no longer going to live with these stresses. I'm no longer going to battle through these hardships. I'm no longer going to go through this alone. And not to bring everybody in with my stress, but I had to free myself from these captivities that I was going through. I'm going to overcome this. And I never really knew how I was going to overcome it. I never really know what the outcome would be. I was dealing with so much. And I remember just having mental breakdowns night after night, kicking and screaming in my dreams, having cold sweats, not being able to focus properly. A lot of times I would look at myself in the mirror. I remember one time I was getting an oil change, getting some things done on my car, and I looked at myself in the mirror and I just broke down in tears, crying. And I remember being in the room and there was other people there, and I was just crying, sobbing, because I was like, I don't even know how I'm going to overcome this. I don't even know how I'm going to, see the year from now. I was like, I'm not going to get a job. I'm never going to have a family. I'm never going to achieve anything. I'm never going to amount to anything. I remember telling myself this, and it was at that moment, after breaking down and crying, that I was just like, you know what? I'm done with the tears. I'm done crying. I'm done fighting these mental battles. Devil, you're not going to have me. And I remembered, my grandmother, rest in peace, Theodora Finley, but I was having these dreams of my grandmother, and she was in my dreams. She passed away in 2013. And in my dreams, she would tell me, Joshua, just slow down. You're going to overcome this. So she's my guardian angel. And you might have a similar story where you have these dreams of somebody who might have passed away. And, I'm a strong believer that, she was somebody that helped me get through it, because in my dreams, I remember there was one time I was having these crazy vivid dreams, psychedelic dreams that I'm tired of having these dreams. And in my dream, my grandmother was wearing all white, and we were in a kitchen together, and we were just calm and peaceful and having breakfast together. And I was wearing all white, and I remember she was able to calm me down in my dream and say, it's gonna be okay. You're gonna overcome this. And she was speaking to me. And I remember waking up and nudging Brenda the next morning and saying, I'm gonna be okay. I don't know how, I don't know what's gonna happen, but I'm gonna be okay. I'm gonna push forward. I'm gonna push towards this. They're gonna believe me. They're gonna believe my story. One day I'm gonna tell this story. And here I am 3 years later. Almost nobody knows this about me, that this happened to me. It wasn't until I was able to speak about it. I started going on Facebook and following hashtags from other people who have Bell's Palsy, Bell's Palsy awareness. And I was going on Twitter and Instagram, and I was going on social networks, and I was posting photos of my Bell's Palsy situation. And it wasn't until I started to reach out to the community of other people who are going through mental health and had the same condition as me that I was freed of my situation. And I remember having this one day where I was able to smile for the first time in almost 45 days of having Bell's palsy. And I broke down and cried. And I cried because at that moment is when I realized that the things we take for granted, something as simple as smiling, I knew right there and then that I'm a better man. This situation beat me up. I felt like I was in the pig's pen. I felt like I was going through hell. I was walking through it day in, day out for almost 3 years. And I said, you know what? I'm overcoming it, and I'm going to share my story, and I'm going to tell people that mental health and mental illness is a serious thing. So when I see people speak about it, I love to have the conversation and let them know I went through it. I went through some of my deepest, darkest moments, and because of that, I believe it made me a better man. Here I am, 3 years later, I'm a father. I'm recently engaged. You're watching this video. Make sure you check out our proposal video. When I start to smile again, I started to realize, I'm going to make the rest of my life the best of my life. I'm going to set myself up for greatness each and every single day. I will not be stopped. I will never, ever let the devil have a stronghold on me, because you know what? You're never going to ever be able to put me down. My name is Joshua Finley, aka Kamikaze Juice. And please, if this video resonates with you, if this is something that you're going through, I want to know if you're going through this situation or if you've gone through it. Tell me about it. Talk about it. Let's be open. This community, I want us to be we're all over the world. We're just going to overcome our issues mentally, physically, spiritually. And I'm here to help connect the dots between a lot of the people. Thanks for watching this video. And I'm going to get into more depth on this topic as the channel grows. I'm going to create more videos where I speak about my court situation, and when I speak about, the stresses and things that happened in my life growing up that I definitely want to get into, because this is also a form of therapy for me as well. We created this channel to speak about our life, and it's going to start right now. So peace and love.